Really not holding back, ain't it? Let's just begin already. Alrighty, so here we are with the first version of all of this, really. So this is going to be designing an app. You see, let's design, it's a little series I want to start where we're basically going to be designing our very own VTuber app and a website. So this isn't necessarily we're not making the app or website. I have no idea how to program, but instead we're going to be doing like the outlines and like the actual designing portion of it. All right, so we're going to be using software like Adobe Illustrator and Adobe XD to really make our designs come to life. But initially we need to actually know what we're doing, right? So that's why I'm here in GIMP. It's just some like free photo editing software. I was gonna use Photoshop, but I don't have it downloaded right now, and this is the fastest thing. And you know, I also kind of know this software like the back of my hand. So let me go switch to black here. But anyway, we're gonna be mainly focusing for iPhone, and for a typical web browser, it doesn't really matter what it is. Probably just a 1920 by 1080p website or resolution for a website. And again, it's kind of designing for possibly like an iPhone 11 or iPhone 12, right? They're kind of like a very similarly designed or similarly sized. But ultimately what we're going to be doing in this big old canvas that I have here is just using, well, just spitting out ideas and seeing what happens, right? Kind of just verbally going over what I would like to see in an app, right? So this is probably going to be the most boring part when it comes to design because, well, we're kind of just outlining everything, but it is pretty important because this will be our roadmap for the future, right? This will kind of dictate what we're going to be doing in both Adobe Illustrator and Adobe XD. For those of you in the UX world, I know Figma is another option, but kind of I want to keep with the Adobe theme, and I actually have more training in XD than I do in Figma, so we're going to be using XD primarily. The goal of today will just be simply going as far as possible before my creative juices run out and see what we can actually come up with. And maybe we might even split it up into two parts, right? The first will be like the phone and then the website, but ultimately we are going to be trying to do both at some point, and they're both going to be feeding off each other. They're both going to have very similar design philosophies and stuff like that. We're going to get to that in a second, but yeah, so that's kind of what I want to do today. So let's go ahead and begin by talking about, well, you know, what kind of design philosophy we're going to be using. So this might not be the most, you know, classic way of designing or starting off a design, but I kind of want to start off here. So we have ourselves the mobile. Well, I'm also going to be using a mouse because my drawing tablet's kind of, my $50 drawing tablet doesn't really want to work today, but mobile, and then we have browser, right? Kind of weird. Okay, well, you know, I guess you get it, right? So another thing too, this is going to be its own platform. So let me go ahead and kind of do in parentheses, its own platform. So this means that this app you can stream from. So I want this to be a competitor to Twitch and YouTube, right? So something that is specifically for VTubing, right? We're going to have different like features that make it a bit more unique to VTubers rather than, you know, what Twitch and YouTube offer, and maybe some new features as well. But ultimately I want this to be its own platform and not its own social media, right? I don't want it to be just like another Twitter for VTubers, because that kind of doesn't do anything because Twitter already exists. But there will be I guess a form of Twitter inside of the app. I've been like brainstorming a little bit about what I want to have, but ultimately this is going to be a platform for VTubing that, let's go right here. So that will have things like a Twitter-like function. For example, posts. I also want it to be kind of like Twitch or YT, where you can live stream. Okay, well, you know what? There we go, live stream. And this includes things like chat and, well, I mean, stream, right? You can set it up that way. It's going to be, I guess, similar to Twitch in terms of the mobile port, where you can't really stream. Well, not that I know of. Can you stream from the mobile app on Twitch? I don't know. I don't think you can. I think on YouTube's like app you can. I don't think on Twitch though. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know for certain. Maybe some apps allow you to stream, but ultimately I think that we're gonna just make it so that you can stream from the browser, or you can kind of manage your stream on the browser version of the app. But chat, stream, and we're gonna get to other things very shortly, like support. And we're gonna go ahead and talk about what that means in a second. But anyway, it's gonna be like Twitter, where you can post things and maybe even like add. Let me like erase this real quick, actually. In not just like posts, but I think another cool little thing to have too would be something like the most recently added fleets, or like stories. I don't really know what we're gonna call it yet. And speaking of names, we're not gonna be naming the app just yet. I feel like the name will come to us eventually. I don't feel like I really have a good name for it just yet. You know, something like, I want it to be something like one worded, maybe even like spelt weird, or you know, maybe it might come to us at some point. Kind of like, you know, Twitch is an actual word, and you know, it's just one word. And you know, there's also YouTube streaming, but you know, I want to keep that one word kind of aesthetic. I think that's really cool. Or you know, kind of make it not a long word. I don't know yet. We haven't really decided that yet, but right now I'd rather just get like the core functionality of each one of these. So mobile and browser, right? So the app itself, we're gonna make it so that you can view streams, you can donate, and this is what I mean by support. You can donate. So when we want to have a button to allow people to donate or to support. Donate, we're gonna talk about something. I'm gonna call this currency for now. I'll explain what this means in a bit, but this is also kind of just like spitting out ideas. Like this isn't actually what's gonna be added just yet. We're just spitting out ideas, and we're gonna keep the ones that we like the most, and maybe even make like a whole new page just on the things that we want to keep, or like a Word document. I don't know. But anyway, yep. So view, donate, currency. This is also from the. Let's go ahead and call this. Let me like remove this part right here. So we're gonna go ahead and actually split it up a little bit. So we're gonna do mobile, or let me actually start from really back here. So we're gonna go ahead and make it so that this is all mobile actually, but it's gonna be split up into two. So we're gonna make like a really big, like, really, you know, nice and thick right here. So there's a divider. I don't really like the way that this is actually set up. Hold on, like this. Okay. Maybe not like the best way, but anyway, so this is gonna be like for mobile. So for phone, little button, little speaker thing, and this is gonna be for the desktop. Okay, so why am I splitting it up like this? Because there's gonna be, obviously, right, there's two kind of sides to this, right? There's the viewer side, and then there's the streamer side. Viewer and then streamer, right? There's gonna be, you know, we kind of have to accompany or to accommodate for both the viewer and the streamer. So, and I think this is where this app might shine over something like YouTube, because for content creators, right, you can't really manage your account that well, especially like if you're on YouTube via the YouTube app. You kind of need the YouTube Studio app, and I think it'd be really neat to have everything be underneath one roof. And I can't really say as to what Twitch does. I don't know if you can manage things on the Twitch's app, or if you need to download something like a third party, or not third party, but download another app that you need to manage everything for mobile, or you just need to edit things through the browser, or I have no idea how Twitch actually works. But I think a really cool selling feature could be the fact that everything can be underneath one roof, or underneath one system, right? So you can control things like, or see statistics. You can see, well, this is the mobile, right? So see statistics. You can also maybe even schedule live streams as well. Seek support maybe. So maybe, like, for example, contact, like, I don't know, whatever app, whatever name we choose for this, the support for that, seek support. But yeah, statistics, schedule, seek support, and maybe even like monetary stuff too. We can, or hold on, this plus ads, stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're gonna, or actually we're gonna add another thing too. We're gonna call this planning, because I have another feature in mind that I would like to kind of add to this. But yes, anyway, so for, let me finish viewers as well. So to view, to donate, we're going to talk about currency in just a bit. Let's see, what else do people do on the mobile version of Twitch? So we can do things like browse. Obviously chat, right? That's another one, chat. And this includes things like emojis and whatever. Emojis and etc., right? All those kind of things. Emotes, sorry, I think that's what Twitch likes to call them, emotes. Stuff like that. So just general chatting and emotes. I think that's pretty like basic stuff. And I'm trying to think. And of course, both of these will have like, you know, account management. Account management. Kind of whack account management. Other things include, let's see, there's account management. I'm trying to think, what do both like viewers and streamers would like to have? Account management. I mean, I guess browsing is another one too. So browse again. Browse again. Yeah, and one thing that, well, browse, there's going to be something that I want to add as well, and we're going to call this discovery, and we're going to get to what that means. I don't know if actually we're going to get to that. Maybe we might get to what discovery is, but see how much space we have. Oh, we have plenty of space. This is kind of like my whiteboard, if you will, right? Like if we were actual UX designers, this would be like our whiteboard on the wall with our little expo markers and kind of just like writing ideas on like sticky notes. But anyway, so account management, browse, and we're going to call this feature discovery. I think it's kind of self-explanatory what that is, but you know, I'll kind of show you what I thought of it, or what I think, what we can do with it. Okay, so everything is going to be kind of very similar to mobile in terms of the desktop, but of course you're going to be able to do more things. I'm just going to go and copy and paste what we have here. There we go. So you can view, donate, view currency as well, browse, chat, do emotes, stuff like that. However, on the streaming side of things, everything is, again, similar, but you can do a lot more because you're now on the browser. Oh, well, statistics is going to be cut off. Hold on. Let's move you over. Okay. Statistics is going to be cut off. Let's just fix it. Statistics. All right. However, there's one thing that I do want to add, and that is, well, it's underneath planning, and this is, well, this is planning, we're going to call it light. And this is going to be planning full. And I think I'll remember what that is. But basically, I want there to be the ability to co-stream or to, you know, have, you know, yeah, like co-stream. Like, let's say this is somebody's stream, or like this is the browser, sorry. And you can have something like a stream here and a stream here, and like chat over here. And, you know, you have the VTuber guy right here. We have another VTuber right here, and you know, their chat. I guess we can like even combine chats here. We could even have it like color coded, right? So like one of them could be I don't know, this red, right? Or maybe that might be a little bit too distracting. Maybe we can just have like, you know, their name be red here, and then the other person could have like a, I don't know, whatever color name. It can be something like the color can be relative to like what their model is, or like the average color of what's on screen right now, or maybe I guess like the streamer can like dictate what color they want. But basically, and then like in the chat we have, you know, like a mixture of both colors. Like this, like chat, so you get to see kind of like both people. You could also like, I guess, decide like which streamers chat you want to view, and then we can have like a half and half one, you see, like that. But anyway, so this is like an idea that I had where like you can do planning where you can like actually set this all up. And what I mean by light would mean, you know, you can't really host a stream on your phone, so instead have like, you know, you have the ability to do like preliminary things like the name of the stream, right? Like, I mean, of course, right, the title of the stream, you know, like the title of the stream and whatever. Yeah, so I think that's kind of what I wanted to do. And yeah, again, you can kind of do a lot of all these things, pretty much the same stuff that you can do on Twitch and YouTube by preparation for a stream behind the scenes. And you're going to need something like OBS for the actual streaming, like, you know, sending it to the desktop, or yeah. All right, so, and kind of the same stuff as, I'm just going to put an arrow over here, same stuff as this to browse and to discover. Now, we might be adding more to this as I remember more things, or maybe when more ideas come into mind. But so this is kind of like what I feel like I want the app to do, right? So Oh, here's another thing. Let me actually explain what currency is. So let me actually like add a little section here just called currency. So I got inspired by this other streaming app that unfortunately folded and went to Facebook Gaming, and it was called Mixer. Now, before Mixer was a thing, it used to be called Beam Pro. And there was two main selling features for Beam. Actually, I don't know if this was actually part of Beam when it was called Beam or if it was added after, but both Beam and Mixer, they had the selling feature, right? With Beam Pro, you had the ability to basically beam your stream straight to like a server, I guess. Like using more bandwidth, you're able to have like virtually no latency. And I thought that was a really cool thing, right? Being able to like see somebody, you know, they put in something in chat and they in the streamer can immediately see it. I thought that was a really cool idea, and I don't know if it was utilized. Maybe it was, but I really like that idea. But we're not going to be taking that. We're going to be taking the other one instead, which is this like charges. So, or I'm calling, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but I'm just going to call it currency for now. So how Mixer did it was that there was these charges or sparks, I think that's what they were called, that you would get when you were watching somebody's stream. Okay, so if you were watching Ninja, right, back when he was on Mixer, or any other streamer, you would accumulate these sparks. And the more sparks you accumulated, you can spend it on stuff. Now, this currency is, like, not, I guess it's fake, right? Like, you don't really pay for it. I think Mixer wanted to add something, but after thinking about it, I actually don't want to make this like a paid thing where like you buy kind of like bits where you can buy bits with real money. Instead, I want this to be something that you gain by actually watching somebody's stream. And there's gonna be a reason why, because there's a feature that I want to add that comes from this idea of having like a co-streaming, and that is like, oh, well, we're gonna get there when we get there, I know. But so basically, I want there to be something similar where like viewers can gain sparks or charges or whatever I call them in this app by watching streamers. So let's go and write that down. So gained, I should really just be typing this down, shouldn't I be? So let's go ahead and type it down. Let's just do 12. Gained by watching streams. And let's do only one at a time. Okay, so here's bullet point number 1. All right, bullet point. So gain by watching streams over time. So let me actually add that. So over time. So the more you attend viewers, or I guess the more you're participating in somebody's stream, the more sparks and charges or whatever coins, whatever you get. So that was a feature of Beam, and you know, with this currency, you kind of have to spend it on something. So one of the other neat little selling features, or one of the other features that, again, I really, really like, I don't know why, I'm really sad that it didn't really work out, and that is you can spend these, you can spend this currency on the streamer. How? Right? So instead of just donating, what the streamer can do is they can have buttons below their stream that can buy special effects to the stream. So think of this as kind of like imagine, okay, so how Mixer did it, one of the ways that I really liked how they implemented it was that in Minecraft, for example, you can have a button down, like there's like this control panel that you had back when I streamed on Mixer. I had it set up where like there's a button down. Oh, can I not? Oh. I had a button that would be down here that if somebody donated like 300 sparks, a pig would spawn in my world. So it was a mod that you had to download, and it would connect to your Mixer account so that when somebody pressed the button, a pig would show up on stream. Right, a pig would, or that's a really weird pig. The legs, yeah. Anyway, so a pig would spawn in my world. So, and again, you had to get this currency by watching, well, anyone's streams really. You can get sparks anywhere, but as long as you're watching somebody's stream, right? So that's what I had. So I want to do something similar. I don't know how much support we can get from, you know, making our own program or making your own mod for Minecraft. I feel like that's a bit too much for this. But instead, I think it'd be cool to have like special effects happen, or something a bit more than just text to speech, or a little animation that plays saying, oh, somebody donated this amount. Like maybe something like maybe I don't know, like some type of special effects like lighting, or an animation plays, or I don't know, maybe, I guess like there's already ways to do that with a soundboard, or there's already programs that allow you to do that. I think with Streamlabs you can do some stuff with that, but I think it'd be neat to have everything kind of be baked in, where instead of donating on a third-party website, you can kind of do it within the stream. You can kind of do it within the, you can do it within the stream. And another thing that I wanted to add too, the reason why I said that I don't know if I want to make this paid or not, and that is betting, right? Maybe it doesn't matter because like sparks and charges, they don't really matter all too much, but we can have like a versus mode or whatever. I'm just gonna like draw it out, a versus mode where you can have like a competition and chat can vote via charges or sparks or currency on who they think is going to win. So they bet on which streamer is going to win. And the reason why I feel like that might not be a good idea is because people can definitely like game the system and create a thing where they already say who's going to win and whatever, I don't know. But if we do make this currency a paid thing, we can have things like paid streams that you have to pay X amount of currency for. So not just members, but you kind of have to like give in a certain amount maybe. But I think that might be too much at that point, having to pay for a currency and then spend it on like specific things. Or maybe another thing too, another idea that I had was customization. Customize. So right now on Twitch, what you can get, Twitch and YouTube, you can have like, okay, so here's like your username, right? And then like the two little dots for your message and chat. So, or I think there's even more, right? There's something else. You can have like a membership icon, I think, right? A little membership icon to the left of your name. And then you could even have like another one, I guess if you're like a Twitch Prime person or whatever it's called. And then you can choose your color. So you have like the membership icon. You can have a secondary icon, like a Twitch Prime. You can change the color of your name. So I want to do something similar. Well, I want to do something pretty similar, but have even more. So, I mean, you can't really change the member icon, right? That's kind of a given. It's kind of a given. So you can't really change this, but maybe you can have things like you can change the color of your name, right? Change the color of your name. And maybe you can even add something like an emoji at the end. I don't know. I'm just going to do a little smiley face thing. It's going to look really weird. Emoji at the end, whatever emoji that you want. And then, of course, the type. I gotta sneeze. So message, and then I get maybe even like have something like you can color the text. Like you can have maybe like a darker version, like a dark blue, right? Something that kind of makes you stand out from the crowd, right? So you have your membership icon. You can change the color, emoji, and then this. And I want it to be kind of like a Discord kind of thing where you can purchase the colors, or we could even make it so that it's kind of custom to the streamer. So let's do like an either or scenario, right? So let's create a little thing over here. So I don't know, this little box right here. So we can have two different versions. So version 1 is that there's a store on either mobile or a store either on both mobile and browser. And this store you can purchase colors. So if you want like and then have it like be your username, chat color, and then like emoji or something like that, right? And then depending on which one the user chooses, let's say that one, which is color, you can like purchase colors for a certain amount of sparks. So you have to like accumulate a certain amount of sparks. So you have to choose on whether or not you want to purchase like this one or yellow, right? They're all gonna cost like I don't know. We'll decide this later, but either like 400 charge or like have it like the more fancy the color, the more expensive it gets, or maybe have one that I think would be really cool. Actually, I might even lean towards this, and that is the actual streamer dictates what colors are allowed on their streams. So like you can like I guess like if you're a partner, right? You can like decide on like what color you want what colors are allowed. So let's say your color palette is, especially like, pink and purple and I don't know, you can have like different shades of pink be, you know, relating to something. So you can purchase like maybe this kind of color, and then like as you go down, it gets more expensive. The variations of pink, kind of getting purpley now, but you know, they can kind of go down in price. Like let's say this is 300, or up in price 300, then like 600, and then 900 charge, right? We might provide like guidelines, or the streamer can dictate this themselves. I don't know, there should be like, I think, a guide, because we also need to decide how should this currency be distributed, right? Should it be 1 per hour, or one per 30 minutes, or 5 per hour? Maybe like 6 per hour, so 1 every 10 minutes. So in order to, so you know, it gives them something to work towards, right? So it's not impossible, but yeah, it's not impossible. And I feel like this could also sort of create more loyalty towards the actual streamer, because let's say the streamer does decide to invest a lot in these colors. So in the color of the name, and maybe even dictate what emojis are allowed on the person's name. What else did I say? Oh yeah, then like chat color as well. If they really go hard on like each one of these and make it like this really extensive thing, that might create a lot of loyalty towards the streamer. So they're more likely going, so viewers are more likely going to donate, which means more money for both whatever app is called and the streamer. So that could create some type of loyalty. That would definitely have to be something like tested, but I can't really test that right now because I don't have anybody to test it on. But I think I might actually go with the second idea. Now, even though I say this might actually be like a lot of work, especially from a design point, because we haven't even gotten to like the actual layouts yet. This is just spitting out ideas. So yeah, anyway, let's see, where are we now? Okay, so let me go back to black. Okay, so that's kind of what I want with currency, right? So again, kind of a recap. The more streams you watch, let's actually write that down as an idea. So 10 per hour, or what did I say? Like 1 per 10 minutes or something like that. 1 per 10 minutes, 6 per hour. So you really have to be like dedicated to that person's stream to like really get like, if we're relating to these prices exactly, you have to like really be fans of them. But I guess, you know, it's kind of a reward for all that. So anyway, so 6 per hour or 1 every 10 minutes. That's kind of what I'm feeling. I don't want to give them too much because then of course like the buttons and stuff like that. So there's many things that somebody can spend the currency on. So it kind of forces you to watch that person's stream. It could also kind of create this thing of just leaving that person's stream open and you know, doing something else. But I feel like that happens everywhere. I think that happens on YouTube, especially on Twitch with Twitch drops. I've definitely been guilty of that before, of just leaving a stream open just to get something that I want, because I'm not going to sit there for 12 hours and wait for some random drop to happen. So anyway, but hopefully maybe if we bump this up, it might allow us to, you know, maybe retain more viewers and have less people just be idle. Or maybe we can have a system set up on the browser where we can detect if you're idle. I don't know. I don't know if Mixer had something similar to that. I'm trying to remember if they did, where if they kind of detect that you're not really there, like if your mouse is just standing still, they won't give you sparks. But regardless, that's kind of like the currency system. So we already have a few sort of custom things, right? We have the currency thing, we have the dual streaming thing, which again I think was a Mixer feature. Currency with buttons, and then new, I guess, that hasn't been done is the versus mode. So you can kind of like, you know, if the streamers are doing like a 1v1, or if they're competing against each other, or if they're like, you know, working together, you can create sort of a thing where people can donate, or people can with currency, with this special like coin, they could you know, maybe like bet on who they think is gonna win, or you know, whatever the case may be. Another thing that I also want to like figure out too is that we want to make sure that this never mind, right? So you can also donate money straight up. So we also want to find a good balance between this type of currency and just spending money, because you know, we don't, a big incentive, I guess, right, for streamers who would like to come on this app would be, you know, donations, right? Like how are they going to make money, right? Ads, yes, but you know, a big way that a lot of big streamers earn money is through donations. So what is, if I were a viewer, would I rather donate, or would I rather spend maybe like a couple hours watching and then be able to do the same thing that I could have if I didn't spend money, or if I did spend money. So I think like the rewards have to be maybe different, or we can just have like a straight up donate button, or maybe even have something like some of these can only be purchased via, actually I guess that makes sense, right? We can have like lower tier, like we can have these be like tiers, right? And maybe towards the end we can have that be like actual money. So not only do you like, instead of just donating, you can actually like purchase a role. So this can be something like maybe $10 or whatever. And then you can have things like text-to-speech donations and stuff like that. That's all going to be like within the app itself. Maybe there might be like a button for that here, like a little like store icon. Yeah, something like that. We can like get into design later on. We're just spitting ideas, right? So 1, 2, 3, like different tiers, and we can have like more lucrative colors. I mean, honestly, actually, I would rather have this color than this one, but like more lucrative colors can be more expensive. So you can like really show your dedication to the person's stream. Honestly, and then I guess I have also like a traditional donate button, like if somebody just wants to donate straight up and not actually go through this whole process, then by all means. I think that maybe during Mixer's lifespan, there were people who just donated for the heck of it and not really wanting something in return, like a color or spending money on charges and stuff. Yeah, or we could have something, a system set up where like you could spend money on charges. Maybe like $5 for like 100 or something like that. I don't know. But I guess we'll like get more into that after, when we really start diving deep into this kind of stuff. But anyway, that is going to be sort of the custom things. And of course, posts and stories, right? So notice how there's a lot of things. And now the next thing that maybe we can start doing is figuring out like the layout. So let's go ahead and draw like a really dumb phone. There we go. So let's pretend this is an iPhone, right? So there's like a little swipe up thing and a little notch. Okay. So this app, the way that I envision it in my head, how I think it's going to look, is that there's going to be like a little profile picture thing up here. It's going to follow. Okay, that's another thing too. I forgot to mention that. So design philosophy, right? There's different kinds of design philosophy. There's human interface design, or HID. HID is another way of saying iOS. So if you're an iPhone user, you're probably familiar with, how a lot of iOS apps look similar in terms of their layout, like Apple Music, podcasts, Mail. They're all kind of designed similarly, where like they have like the profile picture on the top over here, and like a really big letters here, and then like the content going down, right? So, and then Android is a bit of a different story, I think. Like they have their own kind of design philosophy as well. I don't use Android, but I can only assume that like if you have a Pixel, or like if you run stock Android, a lot of stock Android apps are designed similarly, right? So I'm deciding to go off on my own and make my own sort of thing, but it's going to be heavily influenced by HID, so iPhone's version, where I'm going to have the profile picture up here. So this is where we're going to hide all of the settings, right? So we're not going to have our own dedicated like settings button, like the little gear thing. We're not going to have that. We're just going to have this that'll control both account and settings and signing out, signing in, whatever. And then we're going to go ahead and have probably like the little 3-line thing here that opens up our menu. And then we can have our content here. So now we need to go and decide what's in the bottom. I think this is very important. So whatever we have down here, so potentially 4 icons. 4 icons. Okay, that's really ugly. 4 icons. So let's decide what those 4 things are, because I think a lot of apps actually have them. Let me actually grab my phone for a second. And let me go to something like Twitter. I think Twitter has 3. No, Twitter has 4. So a lot of apps actually have something like this. I wish I can show you, but Twitter has, for example, the home button on the far left, a search button in the, like they have a home button here. That's not a home button, but a search icon thing here, the notifications here, and last but not least, message or DMs here. And I think Instagram has something very similar. I don't really have Instagram on here right now, but let's see, what other app is there? Spotify has 3. They have home, search, and your library. So let's see how many tabs we can have. So what is important? So what would be very important to somebody like a viewer of VTubing? what would somebody want to have or have quick access to via these buttons down here? So we don't really have to worry about settings or account because we already have it up here. So we can dedicate these 4 to simply content. So one of them is, or let me go ahead and just do like these little 4 things here. We'll like organize it later, but the first one is going to be discovery. So that's what I was mentioning earlier, which is kind of like on iOS, right? Like the first tab of the first tab on the App Store. It's kind of meant for discovering new apps. So discovery, so you can kind of like check out new VTubers and whatever, right? You can do that, or discovery of like maybe posts as well. Next up would be something maybe like subscriptions. So who you subscribe to. Or actually, Well, I mean, if you think about it, if we already have these buttons on here, then what's the point of having this? We don't really need this if we already have a way to navigate. Because if everything's going to be done via settings, like this is going to be just hold on, wait. Oh. This is going to handle all the settings, account information, and, you know, streaming setup, I guess you can say. Like everything will be done up here. So subscriptions, so discovery subscriptions, we could have like a search feature up here, an omnipresent search feature. So something, maybe not like an actual search bar, but maybe one of those like cool search things where it's like, you know, like, oh, search here. So you just tap that and you begin typing, right? And then like we'd have the content, whatever here. So discovery, so, you know, discovering new types of VTubers. Subscription, so who you subscribe to, and you can kind of find people through searching. Let me actually look through YouTube real quick because that's kind of like my comparison. I should really download the Twitch app so it's we have a good comparison. So actually YouTube has 5. YouTube has home, explore, which is kind of like my discovery thing, a plus button, which I'm assuming is how you upload content, subscriptions, and then your library, right? So we don't really need a library because, well, that'll be kind of up here for streamers, you know, like they're accessing their own content, right? So the library is kind of like your likes and stuff like that, but we're not, or your likes or your view history, but that isn't really important to us here. Like I feel like as like if somebody who watches live streams, I'm not really looking back in like my archive of like who I've watched or what kind of streams I've liked in the past. That's more of a YouTube thing. I definitely like YouTube videos to come back to them. So, and like, you know, the watch later feature, I think that's a bit more important towards YouTube. So the library feature I feel like is not really needed, but discovery, subs. So what else is there? So obviously a store, if we want to have that currency, or store, we're gonna have an asterisk. And last but not least, let's see, what would be important? So discovery, subs, because discovery is also gonna act as a home. So we don't really have to call it discovery. We can just call it just straight up home. So this is gonna be just home. And this could be where, obviously, right, you discover new VTubers, or maybe it can be both a mixture of discovering new VTubers and it could even show like who's live. So an idea that I had was kind of like Twitter, I guess you can say, where a quick kind of access where, like, let's say one of your streamers, a streamer that you like is live, so it'll kind of appear up here, kind of like with Twitter fleets or Instagram stories, how they'll kind of show up here, and then the main content begins down here. I think that'd be pretty neat. So like this can be like, you know, maybe like, you know, a potential algorithm that kind of shows like, you know, a streamer or like showing off new and upcoming streamers. Maybe it decides it on some factors or whatever, but we can have this be like, you know, their streams here, you know, like them over here being a VTuber, and, you know, being a VTuber, whatever. But you have quick access to who you subscribe to here. So now that kind of begs the question, then what's the point of having a a subsection if all your subs are right here? We could even have something like an arrow pointing here underneath, or a plus that opens up to your subscriptions. That might be a little bit of an annoying thing, but again, that's probably like another thing where testing will prove which one's more efficient, to have just a button straight up for subs or a plus dedicated to, like, you know, expanding this, because that if we add this, that gives us more space to add whatever we want down here. But I mean, do we have anything up here that's like super important? So we already have view, right? Browse, we already have that with the home button. chat will be via in browser. Now let's see. So we wanted it to be like a posts and stories and stuff like that. So that's stories. Posts can be done via home. So I guess there could be like a feed. So this feed is a bit more of like, imagine like with Reddit, right? There's Reddit popular that you can have on your phone, which shows what's the most popular. That's kind of like this home discovery. And then there's your feed, your home, right? So it's all the streamers that you follow. So the icon, I don't really know. I'm just gonna like add a, I'll just copy YouTube for now, like a little like card thing. But anyway, so this can be like your subscriptions. So the people that you've followed, so it's kind of all in one place. So you don't really need to, yeah, so it's all in one place. So it's similar to this, but just bigger. So it looks just like this, but again, bigger. Maybe even look exactly the same, but just has your content. Maybe you can have like a little color fade up here. We can have this all be like color coded somehow, maybe. Maybe. We might. But, so we have home, we have feed. So we can have like a store, so you can purchase things. I feel like a store might not be the best thing to actually add. We want it to be pretty discreet, or indiscreet, sorry. We don't want it to be like, oh, store here. Actually, let me go ahead and Google like Twitch mobile. Let's see if I get like a screenshot of what like a Twitch mobile looks like. So it looks like for Twitch they have live, browse, and well, that looks like that's like Android. I don't know if that's like up to date. Yeah, it looks like you have live, I don't know what pulse is, and then browse. So maybe we don't really need 3 icons. Maybe we can actually remove the search thing altogether, and we can actually have the search thing be down here. So we can actually move this. So remove this, get rid of you. Okay. Remove you, and I guess move that up a little bit, but we can have like a search function here. So really, let's just get rid of all this entirely and draw it again. So it kind of like curves down like an iPhone, and we can have like a home button here. Oh, the iPhone little thing here. We can have search, and then we can have like feed. And this kind of follows a lot of what like apps use to design. I feel like YouTube does it. It looks like who else? Twitter to some degree, where the rightmost icon seems to be like the more personal. Search is always kind of in the middle-ish. I know YouTube kind of has it up there, but search over here. Twitter has search right here. I think also Spotify has like search in the middle. And it looks like also, actually no, Twitch has search up on the top right. So let's see, what would be a good, have search be here or have search be down here? Do we really need a whole tab dedicated just for search? We can have that be like an omni search where like, no matter where you are in the app, this will be present so you can search for whatever you want. So home and your feed. But what makes that different? I'm trying to think like, what would be like a good... home... I guess browse maybe, or... yeah, I guess like a browse feature could work. I know that's copying Twitch, but a browse, maybe like a little catalog book thing right here. So browse, so it can be like something of a searching up, maybe like a creator could have like a in the search function, or yeah, I guess like with the search function, this can like initiate its own screen where you can kind of like, you can like a screen will show up like, well, let me like draw another iPhone here, really bad, but kind of like how Spotify is designed, where there's like cards. Oh, that's really bad, but cards like this, it can be streamers, like when they set up their stream, they can have like tags that are really specific. So we can have things like maybe by animal. I don't know, you can add your own tag by animal or something like that. So like, I don't know, cat. You're gonna have like a dog, so their ears or whatever going down, little tongue sticking out, maybe like a rabbit or something. or what are there, like a fox or something, right? So we can have like either by animal or by gender. So we can have maybe not like this, but female, or sorry, male, female, and we can have all of them listed here. So you can kind of like specifically check, or like, yeah, whatever you want. You can have like them specifically checked off, or maybe just games. So we can have it be like categorized. So things like gender, maybe animal, game, or maybe game first, or maybe, I don't know, game first, game, maybe gender second, whatever. Over here, maybe like animal. I know that weird spelling, but animal. Or you can just straight up search for what you want. And that could be something pretty interesting, right? A very like robust search feature. So if you really want to find like a cat girl, you can kind of like input the tags that you want, and like the feed will pop up. And maybe something like a go, or like you can like select these like tabs together, and like it'll like filter out. That could be something. That could be a pretty cool idea. I think that's pretty unique towards VTubers, right? Because maybe you want to find something specific or something new. Maybe we could even add a little feature in the browse section where this is search, by the way. This is search in the browse section where you can like click it and it'll randomly give you a random VTuber that's streaming on the platform right now. But anyway, so this is really like rudimentary screens. We're really gonna get more in depth in this when we get to Illustrator. But for the time being, yeah. So this is kind of like explaining, my idea. So search is gonna be by various factors or variables, or variable searching. So more than just by name, you can kind of search by tag. Yeah, so again, home button will be sort of for discovery. So this is more again for figuring out or looking at streamers, or finding streamers that maybe you've never seen before. Maybe an algorithm will recommend stuff for you, and also like posts will show up of streamers that you currently follow. And then up here, kind of like stories, you're able to sort of view streamers who are currently live. So we can kind of have a system where it's like kind of like Twitter or whatever, where circle will be like stories, right, where you can kind of post an update or whatever. Maybe actually, would that be good? Maybe that might be a good idea. All right, so have like a stories feature, but then have like a rectangle here of anyone who's live. So I know Twitter kind of did something similar with Spaces recently, where it shows up like a rectangle. But yeah, like have something set up like this where when you click on it, you go directly to their live stream. So you don't really have to go down here to your feed and then click on live, right? It's like an easy access to what you want. Because another thing too, right? Since this is really focused on, well, the streamer, you want, I think a really big feature should be being able to go to the streamer that you want as fast as possible. So having it up here, I think would be a pretty good idea, right? You gotta stretch your thumbs up there, but I think it's worth it. And then we have like either Twitter posts or polls, or Twitter posts, I mean polls maybe that like a streamer wants to hold, or an announcement, or just straight up streams of people that you've never seen before. And depending on like how fancy we want to get, maybe we can do something that's similar to Apple, where they have like a like it's like these like news stories, if you will, right? These like posts that are themed around a certain topic, and they have like recommendations. So maybe we can have something similar. We can be like, oh yeah, maybe we can have something that's all about dogs, right? And it shows all the, like, I guess the algorithm will like collect all like these dog VTubers and like organize them into one card. And when you open it up, you can like view it or something like that, and have like an editor kind of write down like something witty about dogs or whatever, but have that all be here. Or maybe we can kind of have this be just purely for exploring, right? But then what's the point of having a home button then, right? Like home, you ideally want it to be for, well, I guess, right? Because I guess that's what feed is for, or your feed is for, right? Looking for streamers that you enjoy. So this can be for, yeah, that like little stories here and there, little cards talking about like, oh yeah, these VTubers are currently live and they're all themed around a certain topic. And then we have like streamers that you've never seen before. and stuff like that. And then like maybe posts or whatever, and maybe posts can be here. What would be here? Because I feel like if I were using this app, I would want discovery to be mainly focused on, or home to be focused on, I guess, VTubers in general, not specifically on one topic or another. Oh, that's a tough one. Because how YouTube does it, YouTube, the home feature is like all like videos that you may like, but it's not so much about, you know, discovery. And I really want there to be like a discovery feature. So maybe we can add that be its own tab. So home, but then this is tough because home or discovery is going to be purely for content creators that you've never seen before, or maybe even like gathering them up together under a theme, as I mentioned. And we can kind of delegate this for posts and stuff like that. Like I feel like posts or polls can be done definitely in the feed. I've decided it'll be definitely in the feed, and this is where you get to see the streamers that you currently follow. And yeah, and you can also kind of have a mini version up here. That I guess we don't need this plus anymore. We've already decided that we don't need you. Plus, nice and clean UI. There we go. Okay, and okay, so have this up here. Discovering new VTubers will be in the home section. So I guess we can kind of like remove this and just call it straight up explore. So it doesn't have to be a home button anymore. I think that's what was tripping me up. I kept on calling it home button. So let's call this explore. So let's do like a compass for now. We might like do something a little bit different later, but have a compass for exploring new VTubers. This is browsing in your feed, and search will be up here. So browse. This could also be called live. Maybe we'll change that soon, because I know Twitch calls it live. They have a whole button dedicated to like streamers who are live. And that's another thing too. Like if we do this search, oh yeah, there's also search, right? So that can be different. So search. Could there be different? I guess there is a difference between search and browse, because browse is actually, yeah, wait, hold on. What is the difference then? Well, there's like a minor difference. Right? Explore is the algorithm giving you content. Browse is you choosing what you want to see. So what would browse be composed of? Would browse be made up of streamers who are currently live, like the top streamers? Because how Twitch does it, right, with their browser is Twitch, you can search it up by game category or by category period, and then you get to see, you can filter it by top viewer, top streamers, or most popular, or up and coming, I think, whatever. So explore, yeah, so I'm definitely keeping explore. I don't know if I'm going to keep it there, but explore is going to be one of them. Search is already up here. Maybe we can just call it straight up live. I really don't want to be copying Twitch, but because with browse is kind of similar to search, where you're kind of looking for something. I guess like the word browsing kind of insinuates that you're searching for something, or you don't know what to search. And our search feature is pretty robust already. I mean, we already have a pretty good way of searching, right? I mean, you're quite literally browsing here, right? You're kind of like filtering what you want. So this can be just straight up like live. So we can have it be like, I don't know, like a record button. I don't know. We're just deciding later what the icons are going to be. Twitch has it as a kind of like a satellite dish. We might design it a little bit differently. Maybe like a kind of like Reddit, like a little antenna for like live. We can like do that real quick. A little like that. So we have so far the Explore tab, which will allow us to view new VTubers and see like categorized little cards for them. Either algorithm made or an editor will make them. The live feature it'll show all the VTubers are currently live, and kind of like Twitch, where you can kind of like see who's the top streamer or filter by whatever, like game or whatever. Yeah, and you can like browse, I guess, use the top streamers and stuff like that. Maybe even have it be categorized by like what agency, so we can have like a, you'll see what I mean shortly, but like have something like here where you can browse by either Hololive, Niji Sanji, VShoujo, VOMs, right? Something like that. You can have like different categories, and like maybe like companies can apply to have their own categories up here or something like that. I don't know. Kind of just spitting ideas out. But definitely like maybe like have a pretty good like live system where it shows, yeah, like I guess who's live currently, right? Because there's a difference between Explore. Another thing that we need to decide too, will Explore show currently live streams in the feed? Or maybe like in the card itself, we make a little icon that shows like that, yes, they are live at that moment in time, right? So kind of like maybe the same design here. So let's say like we click on the card and like the card opens up, kind of like if you have an iPhone, you know what I'm talking about with the App Store. If you click on one of those cards, it kind of like folds open, and maybe like the icons of the streamers will show up, and you can like, and if they're live, it'll show it, indicate that they're live, so you can kind of like visit them right then and there. Same thing here, when in the search, whatever you have, the search will be like, I guess, a better version of this, the live, because let's say I choose cat boy, right? Then if you have the categories of cat boy, it'll show that cat boy is live or not. Maybe, I don't know. And like live, I guess we can have like live be a bit more interactive, where, yeah, I guess live will be like who's currently live at that moment in time, and you can filter based off of most popular, up and coming, or random, right? We can have like a little filter button here, right? Like a little filter up here that shows, you can choose either random or something like that. Or maybe even something like most popular, or most viewers, up and coming, just started, meaning like they just began their stream, or less than X amount of views. So you have, or like in random, right? So it chooses somebody completely at random, and I think that's good for exploration, or for discovery, I guess you can say, which is different from this. I know I kind of use the same word here, but no, they're different. And then of course your feed, right? So it's obviously, right, your subscriptions, right? You can follow certain people. And for your account management, that's where you're going to handle all payments and whatever. Because I know I made a lot of hoopla about currency, and I want currency to be hidden, I guess you can say. I don't want there to be too much thought that like this app is primarily focused on earning money. I want it to be kind of like in the moment kind of purchasing, right? Like I don't want there to be a whole tab dedicated just for purchasing. I want it to be kind of hidden away. So like, what do I mean by that? So let's go ahead and choose mobile again, or let's go ahead and make another little iPhone thing here. So let's go ahead and make up a really quick, broken, not finalized version of the like what the phone's gonna look like. So, or what the mobile one's gonna look like. So let me make a better rectangle. So something like this. Let's go ahead and fill it in with black, and let's shrink that to 3 and just delete. So now we have kind of like an outline here. So, or what I'm thinking, right? So we have our arrow or compass icon, so something like this over here. We have our live button. Actually, if you're watching somebody's stream, I guess it's good to not have anything here. So it's gonna be your account will definitely still show up here unless you specifically say not to. Search will definitely be up here still, but now it's gonna be like the streamer's profile picture, their stream, and you have the ability to like, make it bigger and whatever. We have chat down here, right? And then we have like, I guess, different controls, or yeah, and then we have like chat down here. So again, not final, just like kind of pinpointing where it's going to be. And then from here we can do things like the store. So if the streamer set up, really bad shopping cart, but or maybe we can even have it like be incredibly like indiscreet, where if you want to like change the color of your name, you have to like purchase it with like charges. They don't like, there's no store, like you actually have to first purchase it like in here. So like, let's say for example, it's like, oh, we can have like a gear over here, right? Or like a gear over here, right? Really bad gear, but gear. And this gear will be like, oh yeah, change the color of your name, and a little arrow, or like emote or chat color, right? And then you click on this arrow, and then it leads you to like the actual page of where you purchase with either charges or money, whatever we decide. Then it leads you to that page, right? So store, and like the 3 different place things that you can do. You select that one, color 2, color 3, color 4, how much it's gonna cost, right? So it pops it up inside of like here, inside of the gear, or maybe inside of, maybe we can come up with a different icon, not just the gear, because yeah. But we also, since this is a big part of the stream, maybe we do want to have something that's like a bit more like, I guess, in your face. So another thing that I had was like, since this is going to be customized for each streamer, we should make it so that like down here, for example, right, in the chat. So let's get rid of all this nonsense over here. Okay, so there's like a space in between chat and here, so we can have it like over here where it's like color of you, color of chat, and like the emoji of choice, and then you get to select, or like, I guess, divide it by line. So like color of your name, color of chat, and like, or emoji, and then like color chat. And when you tap on those, then it leads you to the screen of like, you know, what do you want to be, you know, whatever. Then that leads you to like the purchasing page. So like maybe something will pop up from the bottom here, and you get to decide. And I want it to pop up from the bottom and maybe have a little fade out, but still allow you to watch the stream. So I think no matter what we do, whatever like menu icon that comes up, it should not obstruct the stream. I guess the only one that'll override that would be account information. But even like pressing on their icon, I want like something to pop up from the bottom that shows like a really quick preview of their stream, but it still doesn't block the stream. I know a lot of like apps like YouTube, for example, if you click on somebody's profile picture as you're watching a video, it'll minimize the video. But I think it'd be neat to have like a little preview of said channel down here, a really quick, really small version of their channel. And, you know, you can view things like, you know, their current live or their past broadcasts, or, you know, their about page and stuff like that. That's definitely one thing I want to have. But again, like a card that comes up here from the bottom, as opposed to, or yeah, like a little thing that pops up down here instead of blocking the entire page. And then like you can click on it again, or maybe there's an arrow, like if the pop-up looks like this or something that comes up, you know, their profile picture, you know, they're currently live or past broadcasts and about. There's an arrow here that if you click on it, then it'll take you out, or maybe it'll do like picture in picture, or then it'll minimize, but you get to still kind of browse, right? The stream should never really ever be interrupted, in my opinion. It shouldn't ever really be stopped, no matter what. And I feel like that's what YouTube kind of does pretty well, where maybe Twitch does the same thing. I don't really have Twitch on my phone, oddly enough, but if you're searching for something as you're watching a video, it just minimizes. And unless you click on another video, it will not pause what you currently have. And that's kind of what I want to have here as well. And yeah, so let's see, what else can we do? So let's, I guess, do a little quick recap, right? So we kind of just focus on mobile for now. Browser is going to be basically the same thing, just laid out a little bit differently. The icons will be in different places, but the design philosophy will still remain the same, or the core functionality will still remain the same. So there's going to be like the store type thing that will be indiscreet, but still discreet at the same time, right? You get to sort of view it via here, and it'll be kind of custom towards that streamer. So, you know, having sort of a system that is staged. So that's another thing too, right? Well, that can be done via account, right? Account can allow you to, I guess, organize or even like view all of your, you know, how many sparks you have or how many charges you have, and organize or being able to see like how many people you've customized your stream for. Maybe you can even have like a default, so something that is present throughout all, or actually, no, never mind, that's not good. We should just have it be like, yeah, like if you're a fan of this one streamer and they have this whole system set up of colors of your name and the whatever, or yeah, you should be able to, yeah. So let's get rid of this little, let's get rid of this little Windows is popping up. Okay, get rid of this shopping cart. Okay, shopping cart is gone, and let's go ahead and add like maybe just like a little subscribe button or whatever, right? So from there, or a follow button, right? So we could also potentially do something like subscription and follow, kind of like YouTube, where you, oh my god, keep on pressing the Windows button, follow and subscribe, where yeah, so you get to decide if you want to follow, subscribe, and subscribing can allow you to do like, subscriber only events, or you pay a certain amount a month to be a subscriber. And follower, all it just does is adds to like the notification feed down here that they, and you can be notified. You can choose to be notified. Maybe in the account you can choose whether or not to be notified always, or if you don't want to be notified of their posting, maybe you follow a lot of people and you don't want to be just completely bombarded by a by a certain thing. Another idea would be maybe something like, kind of like as I was alluding to earlier, where you can kind of like stream underneath a group. So for example, Hololive could have like their own thing where if you click on Hololive, it kind of shows up their own like specific tab, and you can view only subscribers or only streamers of Hololive. And I think Mixer is something very similar, like a community where you can stream a part of a group of people, and so you can also follow specific groups of people. So maybe they could even break it up like Hololive EN, Hololive JP, Hololive ID, right? So have something like that, or Niji-Sanji JP, and I guess really anything, right? And independent streamers can like come together and make their own little groups if they want to. I guess it doesn't really have to be like official, maybe. You don't have to like, I don't think you shouldn't really need to like go through this whole process to make your own. I think it should just be, one person can do it, and you can like come together and invite, and then like it can kind of be like the basis for this, where like I guess it kind of looked like this too. Mixer has something very similar to this, where if whoever was streaming underneath that community would show up here. So like if you're looking at the Hololive tab, right, whoever was streaming in Hololive would show up here, right? So something like that maybe would be pretty cool. But now we're kind of getting into this dangerous territory of, can there be too much? Can we potentially have too many features that can confuse somebody, right? Like, not only that, but how would we organize all of that? Like already I'm trying to think of how to even like do this versus thing. That'll be definitely behind the scenes work, but like in terms of searching, like how would we kind of have that? Maybe another tab over here, like we get to like scroll and we get to search via group. Maybe that might be okay. But regardless, I feel like we have a good thing going on right now. Maybe like if we organize this a bit more, it'll be easier to see like why this would be a good option over something like Twitch and YouTube. And especially like I like this idea of like having specifically things for streamers, like viewing statistics, scheduling things, support if they need it, planning with like the whole, let's say like streaming with somebody else, or I guess organizing their like, I don't know, their channel behind the scenes, like adding profile pictures or whatever, or like the fleets and stuff like that, especially on phone, adding like one of these, yeah. And then of course with the Streamer Center browser, you have a lot more control over what you can do in terms of like your settings. Like you get to view chat, or you can have like a pop-up window for chat for you, specific for that, or you can see things like donations or whatever, or how many people like change their color and whatever. You can see like really cool statistics, like how many people have bought, let's say, this lavender or this pinkish color and whatever. And yeah, you can donate or whatever, so many followers, subscribers, and I guess it can work with Streamlabs too. So like if you do subscribe or follow, a notification will pop up. And yeah, so I don't know about this button thing anymore. I feel like it could be useful, it could not be useful. Especially like I guess in the mobile thing, it can be like over here, or like this chat can be moved down a little bit and the buttons can be here. So those buttons, again, like they can be things like, oh, like a soundboard or whatever, right? Like I guess a better built-in version of like donations with Streamlabs, where if you donate, like something happens. That's what I was thinking, like a button that can I don't know, make a noise or play a song or scare the VTuber. I don't know. That can be potentially a thing that we can do, but I think I'm leaning more towards just having it be related to this more than about having a button straight up. I think I'm definitely more inclined to like just have it be just purely cosmetic stuff and not really messing around with buttons, because yeah, that's lit up too much. And I feel like a lot of people are there to, and that could also be like, you can also like bully people, I guess. But regardless, I feel like just being able to like color yourself, I think is a decent enough of an experience. I would like to have that, you know, like with my stream. I think that's enough of a reason for me to come watch your stream or be a little bit more loyal to your stream if I dedicated a lot of time and energy to your stream. You could also argue that maybe that might be a bad thing, because if somebody dedicates a lot of their time to one streamer, then they may not like explore more, right? I mean, we're trying to add like a whole explore feature and this whole like robust search system so that maybe people don't get locked into one streamer. But I also would like to know like a statistic of how many people or how many viewers only watch one streamer and one streamer only, right? Even with this platform where you dedicate, like, you know, like if people who like subscribe or they donate to current streamers like today, right? If you were to donate or become a member of a certain stream, yeah, you're gonna watch them more. But you know, there's people out there who do like multiple who donate and are that donate and are subscribers or members of channels today, and they multiple, I mean, right? So maybe this isn't the worst thing in the world. I was just thinking like maybe this might lock down somebody even further, but maybe not. And you earn it via hours and stuff like that, like how much you interact with that streamer. And yeah, let's get rid of the verses. Maybe betting is not a good idea. Just keeping it simple. Again, things that VTubers or people who do VTubing would like to see. Just to customize the color, I think that'd be pretty neat. Being able to search by a variety of different variables, having an explore tab that can categorize VTubers by maybe, you know, like if you're a dog or if you're a rabbit or whatever, or maybe if you are really into the color pink, you can, an editor can really look at certain streamers that were really into pink and like add them to like a card or whatever, and maybe even recommend to you streamers that you've never seen before, and of course show like who's currently live a part of your subscription feed, and if they did any like little stories things. And in the feed you get to see things like, you know, posts or whatever. Think of like a community tab on YouTube, but a bit more, you know, I guess dedicated. You get to see what they've posted, you get to see if they're live as well, and the live feature you get to see people who are currently live, maybe of a certain category. A certain category, like let's say a certain game, you can search by maybe game. So a bit more, I guess, a simpler version of this, where it can show up like up here. It can show up like something like this, sorry, where it shows up like currently live. So maybe like a smaller version of this, kind of like how Twitch desktop has it, where it's like something like this, whatever, like little previews, and maybe like their profile picture up here, what the stream is called, and like you get to sort of like browse via that. Or maybe you can decide to choose like a more, there's like a grid layout, I guess, right? Like you can choose either grid icon, like, you know, they kind of have it like this, or you can have it like that, or you can have it like card view. I guess those are kind of the same thing. So just like you can choose either grid view or card view on like who you want to see. Windows, get out of here. Okay. Yeah, you can choose either or for the live, right? And maybe like above it. So this can be like in the middle of the screen. You get to like scroll, but like right here in this section, right, which is above this. So above, like over here, we can have the different categories. You get to choose like what game, maybe like have like a little controller and you can choose what game, or you can do what other things, top streamer, or you can filter by more categories. You can like little like drop down, you can like choose, you can really like search for who you want to see. So you can see who's, you know, the top streamer at that moment in time. Oh yeah, and then the random, I forgot. So yeah, the browse, we need to think about it a bit more, because we also need to remember how like good our search system is going to be. So maybe the live tab is kind of useless, because exploring or the discovery tab will already kind of bring new streamers to us. The search feature will allow us to really fine tune what we want to see. So live is kind of like this weird child between them, where it will show you streamers that you've never seen before, but you could also kind of like, I guess, categorize it. I don't know. Maybe we can just do something of just straight up, you know, you can find the streamers by or filter them by what I mentioned earlier, where you can filter by how many viewers they have, whether or not they are up and coming, they just started their stream, or random, or less than 5 views, and then like completely random, right? So you can kind of choose those, maybe like in a filter button, or maybe like to really like make people be more inclined to use it. Instead of having it be underneath the drop menu, have it like be its own icon. So like most popular, so it can be something like an arrow pointing upward or whatever, most popular, or up and coming, so like an arrow like this. So maybe something like if they reckon the hundreds of 50 to 100 viewers or whatever, something like that, maybe up and coming, or like we can kind of like figure it out from there, like what the statistic will be. So trending, or most popular, sorry, by viewers, up and coming, less than 5, or just started. So let's see, what would be like a good clock, maybe, I don't know. Clock, I don't know. So like just started, less than 5, and then completely random. So what's a good, like a dice or something, completely random, right? So we could have like these 5, so it kind of like it maybe could persuade people to press it more, since it's kind of in your face, right? I feel like more people might click on the random because it's there, rather than it being hidden underneath some drop down menu. So here we are. So we kind of have an really basic, I mean, we haven't even used like this top section over here, but this is kind of like what we'll have it on a whiteboard, I guess. Yeah, so okay, another recap. So we're gonna have, for the mobile app at least, right, we're gonna have 3 tabs in the bottom. The first tab is gonna be the Explore tab. The Explore tab is gonna be where you get to, or maybe like the discovery or the home feed, whatever you want to call it. That will be for looking at streamers that you've never seen before, or be recommended streamers that you may like according to your preferences, maybe. So if you watch a lot of like dog VTubers, it might recommend you even more. And also cards, so you get to see things like what? Oh yeah, like let's say a specific theme, right? Let's say like cat VTubers, right? A card will pop up when you click on it. It'll like categorize cat VTubers that maybe you've never seen before, or just like an editor will make that, and you can like go from there if you want to watch them or not. Then above that, we're gonna have this thing up here where you get to see who's currently live on your subscription feed. Let's go and categorize it by the most views, and then fleet. So like if they have like a story or whatever. So that can be one thing. And the next tab, we didn't really draw it, but the next one will be the live tab. The live tab will go ahead and show kind of like Twitch desktop, just showing you a bunch of streamers that are currently live, and you can categorize them by most trending or most popular in terms of viewers, up and coming, so streamers who are within certain constraints about viewers, or yeah, basically, right? So like 50 to 100 or 100 to 200 viewers. Just started, I kind of just added a clock. May not be the final icon, but you know, just started streaming like within 5 minutes, less than 5 viewers, and finally random. So it'll like kind of just choose a random, or it'll like choose random streams, and you can kind of like view them if you want. Kind of not really, or let's continue, right? So in the bottom, last in the feed, pretty simple. It's going to be just a straight up list of all your subscriptions. Maybe we can add like the same kind of like filtering, where you can filter by animal, filter by gender, filter by whatever. Yeah, so you can kind of do that. And then lastly, kind of one of our selling features is the search, where the search is very robust. So you can search for either specific streamers who let's remove game, because that's kind of what this is for. Actually, we can add to the live tab, or actually no, search, yeah, because you're searching by game too, so never mind. You can search by game, gender, animal, whatever on this screen when you click on it. So the search, you can still type whatever you want up here, but this kind of like helps out. You can kind of like tap what you want, and this arrow will say that you're done, or we can move the arrow up here. Again, this live will kind of show us, the whole point of it is to put more streamers here. So I guess the benefit would be like, in the explore tab, it's just one. It'll be like in this sort of like card, you can't really change that. It'll always be like this. Whereas at least live, you get to see more viewers, more streamers are at once. Feed, it'll be kind of like in a list view. So you get to see all your subscriptions in one place. And when you do decide to click on a stream, it'll look something like this, where the stream is up here in whatever resolution they choose, 19 by 20 by 1080, whatever, and chat will be down here. And you can see the person's profile picture up here, which when you click on it, a card will pop up like this that'll show, their whatever's here, about, or like past streams and about, maybe like a home feed, past streams and about. And if you click on these dots, you get to sort of like purchase with Sparks, which is a currency that might end up like right here, like below the name, kind of like Mixer. You can purchase with Sparks or whatever we end up calling our currency. You can change the color of your name. You can add an emoji or next to your name, or you can change the color of the text. And that's all going to be all decided by the actual streamer itself. With that, you can plan, and then behind the scenes in the account, you can do things like, basic account management. You can manage who you're subscribed to. You can manage how many Sparks you have, or how many, like what colors you have per streamer. And for streamers, you can do things like you can schedule, kind of like on YouTube, you can schedule certain streams together. You can see statistics like how many viewers you have, or you can see how much you've made that night, whatever. You can seek support via whatever support system we choose. You can see how much money and the ads or whatever. Planning, that kind of goes together with scheduling, where you get to maybe like plan a dual stream with somebody else, like kind of how we have here, where you can stream together, like that. Or you can do the traditional method of just having like another VTuber just like show up here. We're gonna have the option open. You can either decide to stream it like this, or you can stream together in one browser, like kind of what current VTubers do, where you kind of just have somebody in the background behind you. That can be something neat. That's all gonna be done via account management though. Yeah, so that is my idea for a VTuber app, and just the browser version of this is just gonna be a blown up version of it, a bit more content, right? You have a lot more to see. But I do definitely want to do a lot more research on Twitch itself, and maybe even like show Twitch here and talk about some of the things that I don't like, or maybe things that we can improve upon, because we're trying to convince people from Twitch and YouTube to use our platform instead. So, let's take cues from what they do right and apply it here, or maybe fix the mistakes that they make. And definitely one of the selling features again is the fact that this is designated towards VTubers solely. And you have an argument to make where it might be like a Discord thing, where initially Discord was aimed directly at gamers, and then it moved on over to something like general purpose communication. This could be something similar, where it first starts off as VTuber, and then it moves on to something like general purpose streaming, right? Like an alternative to Twitch or YouTube, right? Because even though we do have like things that are specifically for VTubing, which our search function, nothing really else kind of screams VTuber, right? Like this whole like coloring thing that could definitely be added to something like YouTube or Twitch, right? This isn't really an exclusive thing. And Mixer even had the currency thing, and they weren't really dedicated to just solely VTubing. And even the search function of like random and less than 5 viewers or just started streaming, that isn't really particularly VTuber, like something that VTubers only experience. The only thing that is very VTubery is, the whole search function. And that can be obviously retweaked or tweaked in the future, but now we're kind of like getting really into it, right? Like if we are planning on making this app general purpose, we can make the search function a bit more VTubery, right? Like with, what animal are you and whatever. I mean, we can keep it. I mean, especially the if you really want to get specific in terms of like what you want, or what kind of what kind of streamers you want to see, really down into like preferences or whatever. But I think this is a good starting point. We haven't really designed the browser part yet. So the browser could be something kind of like a fat version of the mobile. So kind of like Twitch, where we have the profile picture up here. We can have let's see, actually let me go to Twitch right now. Let me like mute whatever is happening. Okay, mute you. Okay, so Twitch, how they have it right now is profile, bits, messages, inbox, and something about Twitch Prime. And then over here they have the actual Twitch logo for home, following, browse, yeah, esports. So this is kind of custom to them. Music, which is another thing that's kind of custom to them. ... which probably is more, and then like a search thing. So this is kind of like, I mean, it's kind of spread out more. And then they have on the side here streamers that you follow, kind of like what's streaming currently, like kind of like in card format. Here in the middle, what's kind of popular right now. And then they have things like what you think you like here, and then categories that you like. So this is Twitch right now. Okay, so this is Twitch, what they have currently. So what can we keep from them in terms of the home screen? So because we have, you know, this whole explore tab, right? We kind of want to like add it here too. So the explore tab can be designed. Let's see, how could it be designed? Should we have like something up here where like it's explore or whatever? Because okay, your subscriptions could potentially end up here, or maybe we can have it like I'm running out of space. Okay, we can have it where like, okay, so profile will definitely be in the top right. Like that's kind of no, it has to be there. Maybe because it's like, since mobile, we're trying to conserve space, we can do things like you know how many charges you have. We can have things like your channel or something like that, or no, actually that can be definitely underneath account. YouTube, what they have, let me just go to YouTube real quick. YouTube, they just have the logo on the far left, then they have notifications, they have some grid thing, which is the YouTube apps, and go live. So Twitch, on the other hand, they don't really have that. They don't have a button for you to go live. I wonder if that'll be underneath, like, oh, should I make that underneath account management, or should I make that like, maybe we can have something where like, you know, you can begin broadcasting. So let's do a little like microphone, pretty bad mic, but you know, microphone to go live. Then we can have something like and that can lead to like, or let's do like control center, so the control panel, I don't know, control panel, which will bring you to, you know, preparing your stream or whatever, assuming you're signed in. Should we have a DM feature or like a messaging feature, like notifications? Because with Twitch, the reason, so messages are typically used, I guess, for small streamers or whatever, or to send you like alert notifications. Inbox is kind of the same idea, because with Twitch you have the ability to like, you know, if you watch somebody's stream, you could get drops or something. But we're not doing that. We're kind of just doing charges solely. So maybe like, oh, I have no idea. Whatever. Maybe if I keep on talking, I'll come up with something. But YouTube doesn't really have that. YouTube is more focused on like either you creating content or being notified. So definitely maybe like a notifications bell. It's a really bad No, we're doing that again. There we go. Notifications, I guess, can be here again, not to size, just but definitely a search thing right here, and maybe the logo, whatever we choose. Logo. Nice and simple. I think we're gonna keep it, because if we go back to Twitch, right, they have following, browse, esports, music, right? We're not gonna have esports, we're not gonna have music. We can have maybe the categories on this side, like gaming, or just chatting, or singing maybe, because that's kind of what like VTubers do, right? So there's like, we can have maybe maybe not following, we can kind of have like that be over here on this side of the screen. I kind of like what they did over here, where like it can be on the left, organizing everything, but it can be something like gaming, music. So this can encompass things like singing and music creation. So gaming, music, art, and chatting. And that can be like really quick ways, because I think those are really like really popular categories. There are probably more, maybe some like other, like, you know what I'm doing. Well, I guess what I'm doing right now is categorized as art, but that can be like here when we scale it properly, everything. But that can be here, and that will allow people to kind of like just go straight to gaming, straight to music, straight to art, and it'll like come up as like search, right? So it'll, all the streams of that category will be here. In the search category, like when we click on search, also something very similar to this, where, or with our phone app, where it'll all like kind of pop up like here, where you get to choose. You can really like fine tune what you want on the browser as well, or like pop up that way, like when you click on search. So you can definitely type whatever you want, but you can also click on stuff that you want to see, or filter based off of what you want to see. Another big thing, let's go back to our app real quick. Let's see what is important. So we have the ability to view, right? We can kind of like already design kind of like, you know, kind of what we have here, right? Viewing from the desktop point of view. We kind of already figured out our currency. Something very similar where like underneath the person's stream. So like, let's say, you know, this is the person's stream. Again, design, this is not final design. This will be modified later, but you know, here's chat, you know, who you follow, whatever. It'll be kind of like, I guess, a little bit more this way, but you know, profile picture, or how does Twitch have it? Twitch has it below, right? Like if I just click on somebody's stream and just mute it real quick, yeah, they have it set up where the profile picture is in the bottom. So profile picture in the bottom. Maybe we can add like a I think profile picture in the bottom. YouTube, yeah, YouTube and Twitch both have it. So let's go ahead and do what they're doing. So profile picture in the bottom. Title of the stream, maybe what game they're playing or whatever. About down here. Follow, subscribe, and then chat is right here. And then from here we can have like the dot like that, so we can go and decide, and then from there we get to do like the whole like choosing what color you want to have for whatever you're doing. I mean, whatever you want for the chat, right? And I guess with subscribe, we can have like a little arrow here to sort of manage your subscriptions as well. Well, not manage, but you can kind of like choose what icon you want, or actually, no, you don't really get to choose, I don't think. But yeah, anyway, so desktop can look something like this. Again, this is kind of just brainstorming, just like throwing ideas out there. And we can do something very similar, kind of like this kind of reminded me, right? Where like the card feature can pop up again, or I guess, well, maybe for here, it doesn't really work in the same way. Like if you click on the person's profile picture, it'll just end up being like a picture in picture. It'll go to their profile, and then, you know, you get to browse there. But again, the stream should never really end. Like, I guess this will be like a little pop-up that comes down like a card, and you get to choose what you want, and the card can go back up again. Maybe like you could even like the card can like come down like this, but you can still chat. So the moment you click on it, you can like click apply, and you can immediately start chatting away. So you don't really have to like, you know, you don't get taken out of the experience. You just like modify it from, you know, modify it on the go. So yeah, and then of course this over here on the side will be your subscriptions or whatever. Should there be a specific tab for followers? Well, I don't know, but definitely the home tab will be something that we're gonna, yeah, we should. So home tab, like, just if you just typed in whatever the name of our service .com is, or .tv, whatever we choose, it's gonna default to Explore, kind of like how Twitch kind of defaults to Explore, or their version of Explore, where it shows streamers that I would like to see. We're gonna do something very similar. What else? So feed, live, Explore. Yeah. So I mean, we're kind of referencing Twitch a lot here, so it'll be very Twitch-esque. I basically want to have like a YouTube game or YouTube streaming meets Twitch in the middle. That's kind of what we're going to be aiming for. And we can potentially add things here and there that are specific to, or that could make the system a bit easier, right? Like we're going to go over Twitch and things that I do like and what I don't like, and maybe sort of like add that here. So yeah, we already did like a recap of what I want. OBS again will be kind of how you control things. I know yeah, we also need to make the screen. Yeah, so let's go ahead and like figure out. Actually, we can kind of do that later. So we have to analyze it like bit by bit. So analyzing what the different screens. Like I guess what I'll do like for the next version of this stream, whenever I decide for that to happen, we can go ahead and do like the different screens. We might do mobile first since desktop is a lot more, or maybe mobile looks a little bit easier, and maybe like from mobile we'll learn a lot and then translate that to desktop. But what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna download Twitch, make an account, or sign into the account that I already have, and just take screenshots and post them here and see what they do and see how what we can do to sort of like make it better, or kind of criticize what they're currently doing and see how we can do better. And or maybe just take what they have already, and if it works, since a lot of what YouTube has and what Twitch have are very similar, but they do it like in their own way. That's kind of what I want to do too, where it's my own way of doing something that everybody does, right? Like the profile thing, right? A lot of websites have the profile picture at the top right. So yeah, I mean, Twitch is kind of weird, but Twitter is kind of weird where they have it on the left, but Twitch and YouTube both have it on top right. So we're going to keep it that way. Fleets is another thing that we're going to think about later, how we're going to add that to the home screen. Maybe like, let's see. Maybe that can be here, actually. Maybe we can have like followers be like over here, like one of the tabs here, and then on this side is the fleets and who's live currently, right? Kind of like a quick version of just going straight to that person's stream. So that can be some cool ideas. So this can be, let me like do this because I don't know if I want to remember them. So this can be like the fleets and whatever, while this is following. All right. So here's our scuffed whiteboard of what I want to have in this app. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've made a lot of progress today in terms of what I want to have in an app. So we're going to leave it off here, but definitely maybe next week we can begin the next version of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this so it's a little bit easier. And I like a lot of me repeating the same thing. But yeah, let me go ahead and actually I'll say this later. But yeah, anyway, I think this was a good first step towards making our VTuber app. And I might learn some more things and might bring them back next time I stream. I might like tell you some things that I've learned in the meantime. But anyway, this is a fun little stream, and I'll go ahead and check you guys later.